Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are going to be taking a first look at a new game which came out a few days ago into early access. The game is called Dune Spice Wars, and this is a game that I've been kind of following loosely. I'll admit I'm not a huge Dune fan. I remember seeing some of the clips, if you will, of that. Was it like a sci-fi series in the early 2000s when they did like a mini series of the various Dune sort of novels? I've never read the books themselves, and I haven't seen the newest movie. I'm loosely aware of the plot and the context, but you know, it'll be an interesting look for me because, you know, I know about the worms, kind of sort of. I kind of sort of know about the spices and whatever spice. Yeah, it looks like an interesting 4X real-time strategy game. It's developed by Shiro Games and it's published by Funcom. So I don't know that I've ever played anything by them before, but let's go ahead and just jump in and take a look. So you are given the option in this game of playing as one of four factions. You've got House Atreides, which is kind of like the noble, servants of the Empire, I guess, if you will. You've got House Harkonnen, which is kind of like, the oppressive, underhanded faction, if you will. You've got the Smugglers, which are, they're basically merchants who are willing to smuggle and kind of do things under the table. And each one of these factions has different traits. And then you've got the Fremen, which I believe are the native Arrakis population. So these are sort of the indigenous folks, and then the other three, the two houses, and then the Smugglers are the sort of occupiers, if you will, of this planet. So you can see there's different bonuses for different families. House Atreides is given the option to peacefully annex territories, which I'm guessing is like taking over local villages peacefully. They lose no authority from, or other factions lose no authority when they sign treaties with you. And you benefit from a higher LandSraad standing, which I think is your relationship with like the off-planet empire or emperor. And so you're obviously fighting for sort of influence and power within the empire. But you're not allowed to pillage neutrals because you're too noble or something. House Harkonnen, these are kind of the jerks, if you will. You're given the option to oppress villages. You are given additional resource production for every active militia unit that you have. So sort of a military force intimidation thing. Negative 10% village resource production, and you always know the influence flows of other factions. And then you have the Smugglers, which are given options to place bounties on resolutions. You have better relationships with some of the sort of black markets where different trading and stuff can occur. I'm assuming Underworld headquarters are kind of like installing black markets in opponent villages, so maybe you get some income from villages that aren't your own. But you're a smuggler. You're not like an official member of these houses, so you're kind of, if you will, outside of the power struggle or the nobility or whatnot, and so you aren't given as much access to the empire. And then you have the Fremen, which obviously, since they're the natives, not as much access to the LandSraad, which I think is like the Empire's, like sort of like their parliament, if you will. But you can you can ride worms, which sounds cool. You can form alliances with different, towns on the planet outside of your territory, and you have a reduced supply drain for your people. We're gonna play as the jerks. We're gonna be the Harkonians. I don't want to be nobles. It's too nice. It's too happy. And I want to be within sort of the empire. So that seems to be our choice. Is we're not going to be the honest and upstanding family, and we're not going to be the smugglers, and we're not going to be the natives. We're going to be in the empire, and we're going to be the jerks. So we're going to be the Harkonians. So you can see here, House Harkonnen shares its chilling reputation with its leader, Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. They have been called despotic, merciless, scheming, and devious, and those are only their finer qualities. Faction bonuses, we already went over those. I guess at 5,000 influence, we get, at 5,000 hegemony, we get while at least one ally village is under oppression, you get 10% plus to unit power and 100% to agent recruitment speed. At 10,000 hegemony, you're allowed to assign an agent to a mission to reduce its cost and preparation time. The agent will be sacrificed. So we have different counselors, I guess. I don't really know the influence of them. It looks like one of these guys gives us an extra militia spot. The other one reduces military costs and combat drugs. So there's these two are sort of the easy ones, Rabban, Harkonnen, and Ilkin Nefud. We have Peter's DeVries, which is a hard counselor. No supply limitations, +1 intel production in enemy territory. And some of our units have an infiltrator trait. And then you've got Fayed Rathua Harkonnen. Can use corruption on the LandSraad resolutions, causing a loss of LandSraad standing for the elected faction, gain 10 influence upon killing a rebel. We're going to go with the easy ones because this is my first time ever playing. I like the idea of reduced military costs if our units are killed, and I like the idea of additional militia spots. That seems useful. So we'll go ahead and we'll jump in. There's sliders here, which I guess influence victory conditions and stuff like that. We're just going to leave it as stock. AI players, Atreides, Smugglers, and Fremen. I don't know if there's like going to be future, or I guess you can turn it off so there's fewer AI players. But we'll keep the full list. Medium difficulty, normal storm, stetch, and sandworm activity, and medium map size. So let's go ahead and jump in. The Harkonians, like, the imagery here is very Sith, like Star Wars Scythian. Okay, so it looks like Carthage is, I guess, our main base. I can't do anything here yet. It doesn't look like. It looks like we have one unit here, which I believe is a scout. It's kind of like a cool little wing flappy thing. And it looks like our first objective is to recon villages in a region with a spice field. So we're going to be seeing the tutorial as we play through here. It does look like there's spice out this way, as far as I can tell. That's the purple stuff. So go ahead and send our recon bug flying thing, whatever it is. It's like a helicopter with bug wings and an afterburner. But we'll send it out here into the sand and go find us a spice field. So we found the spice. Question is, where is the village for this particular region? Because we do have to, I guess, research the village in order to unlock it. So let's go ahead and research down here. Maybe the village is down here. Also looks like there's some sort of impact crater up here. Not sure what that's all about. There was an awesome Dune RTS game in the mid-90s. I've never played a Dune game before. I've never read any of the Dune books. So I'm not your Dune expert, but it does look pretty cool, and you can zoom in and out, and you know, it looks, I guess it's a orange desert planet, so it's hard to say like how excited you should be, but it is pretty cool. We're gonna go ahead and turn auto recon on. Okay, so we've completed the getting started here. First priority to set up a spice harvest setting operation. First, we need to find a village within a region of a spice field. Well, we've done that. There's a village over here of Ubtar, and then the spice is over this way. So what do we need to do now? I'm guessing we probably need to go occupy the village, right? We need to build at least 2 military units and control the village in the region of the spice field. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and we have sort of this tab on the right here with our units, and we have our Ornthopper, which is the recon unit here. But then we have the ability to recruit units. So there, it looks like there's 5 different unit types. But we're going to go ahead and recruit 1 trooper and 1 gunner. The gunner's kind of a ranged unit, and the trooper is sort of a close-in unit. Looks like our chopper here has found a whole bunch of interesting information just to the south of Carthage and is now in the process of reconning it and seeing what's out there. You can see these build like a traditional RTS where you sort of have a time window as things build. Looks like we found another village down here. And the way I believe units work is units have limited amount of supply. While they're in friendly territory, I don't believe they consume supply, but as they moved outside of your territory, they do. So you can see this red circle represents sort of our control around Carthage. As we move outside of here, we will begin to lose supply here. If units, I believe, hit 0 supply, then they die. So there's that. There's also sort of this armor trait, which influences presumably how much damage they can take, the health likewise, and then the power, which is sort of your firepower. So you can see we're losing supply pretty quickly as we move through this territory. We're going to go and try and attack this village. There are 2 enemy units here that have come out to attack us. It looks like they're militias. They're local militias. They suffer panic when they're under 50% health. Wombat, thanks for the follow, by the way. And you can see our ranged units are bombarding them, and our troopers here are fighting them kind of in almost like, looks like melee combat. You can see the health is represented by these green bars here. Looks like we're doing pretty well. We've suffered about 50% casualties of our troopers here, but we have destroyed the first unit, and we are well on the way to destroying the second. There also appears to be a sandworm nearby. You can see the ground is all sort of like buffeting, if you will. What the hell? Are they all sinking into the sand? They all just like get eaten up by the sandworm? Well, they were fighting. Well, hopefully the enemy doesn't get free militia right back. I need to raise more troops. By the way, as you raise units, you do spend Solari up here, which is sort of your money. So Solari represents currency. Plascrete is a resource used in various construction. Manpower is obviously self-explanatory. Fuel cells are used to power, I guess, vehicles and things like that. So like our Umthopper is powered by it. Water, it sort of limits how much you can build up. Like obviously you need water resources in order to survive. Authority represents faction's leadership, and reach over the regions of Arrakis is used to take control of villages. And then the LandSraad standing, which is you're standing within the LandSraad, sort of the government, if you will. You can see the scoring matrix there on what's high, what's low, and what's not. We're at 150, which is in the low category. It looks, what's this? Okay, so it looks like the enemy militia didn't raise more troops. The sandworm is gone, so it didn't kill us this time. We'll go ahead and take control of this village of Ubtar. So you just click the button, and then it takes a little bit of time to take control. Does take a certain amount of authority and water in order to take control of a village. And we're building that out. I can't do anything back here with our home base until I get to more hegemony, which I'm currently at 25 out of 25,000 right now. And you can see the different houses and their levels. We're way lower than everybody else. Okay, so let's pause for a second. So we've taken over Ubtar, which now allows us to complete this objective. And then I believe the next thing is going to be to build a refinery so that we can go ahead and get that spice. The spice, the way the game works, the spice kind of reminds me of like in Red Alert, where you had like the ore you had to go out and, you know, mine so you could build stuff. Spice works a little bit differently in that you are required to pay a tax to the Imperial government every 25 days, I believe it is. So you can see the first tax that's coming up in 12 days is 80 spice. Currently we have none in the stockpile, so we have to go ahead and build a refinery here. In order to do that, you can see the refinery costs 500 plascrete, 4 fuel cells, and will take 4 days, I guess. I'm assuming that's what the time thing indicates. It will open up the ability to deploy a harvester, which can go and harvest the spice. It will cost 4 solari, which we currently, it looks like we're creating 13 bonus, or we have a net positive of 13 per day right now. And it will cost 14 plascrete upkeep permanently. But we're going to go ahead and build a refinery. And then this works just like any other RTS where you have to go ahead and place the refinery on the map. So go ahead and place it right next to this village here at Ubtar, and that construction will begin. Meanwhile, our Orn the Copper, or whatever it is continuing to research out here near us. It looks like it's uncovered rare elements here at the Hard Pass, just south of this town here. It's also uncovered energy sources, which I guess helps the creation of fuel cells. So like there's different refining and buildings and things like that you can build in order to access these different resources here. But you can see we now control these 3 sections on the map here. It looks like, if I can tell here, we're sort of in the upper right-hand corner of the whole map. I'm assuming these sort of grayed out sectors are the rest of the map. So we're going to be pretty crowded in here if we've got 4 factions here. There's not a ton of room to grow, I don't think. Let's see here. New village controlled. Costs water. Okay. And then development research. So there is a tech tree, if you will. I believe in order to mine those rare elements, I need to get a structured warehouse. So I'm going to start with the compost materials, which reduce building construction costs and increase building speed. Actually, first let's do the local dialect, because I want to unlock the water sellers contacts, which I believe allows me to build like more advanced water collection, which water is going to be a key resource here. You can see 2 armies cost us 6 water, villages cost us 5. That means we're sitting at about 9 water, and I don't think you can stockpile it or build it or anything like that. So it's just kind of sitting here. And if I want to like take more of these nearby bases over, I'm going to need more water. Spice production is the next tutorial mission, if you will. We're already constructing the refinery, so we'll begin that construction soon. But yeah, the limit on like what you can build out or how far you can build things is really tied to things like water. It's tied to things like the Solari, which is your money. You can actually exchange spice for the Solari. Right now it looks like 1 spice is equal to 1.8 Solari, but because you have to pay that tax to the Imperial government every so often, you got to be careful with not trading away too much of that spice, because if you fail to meet the taxes, your standing goes down or your authority goes down. Hey, ready to go. What inspired me to stream it? Well, I was given a copy by the developer, and it looked interesting. I've been playing a fair bit of Distant Worlds 2 lately on the channel, and you know, this isn't exactly the same. It's not a galaxy type game, but I enjoyed Distant Worlds. I enjoyed Stellaris, and I figured, you know, this is more space sci-fi stuff. There have been a rash of like space IPs that have sort of been developed recently. By the way, we have the Harvester now, so go ahead and hit deploy, and then this will just go out to the spice field. Now, I believe the Harvesters actually attract those worms that ate our troops before, and so it is possible it could get destroyed if it creates too much noise, if you will, as it harvests the spice. So that's something you have to keep in mind. You can enable auto recall, which will call the a harvester back if a sandworm is detected, but it does produce less spice when you do that. So we'll just kind of leave this as is. FPS Dunk, thank you very much for the raid. Hey, Grill Sergeant. Welcome, guys. We're playing some Dune Spice Wars tonight. Is that a thing? FPS Dunk? You say get dunked on? All right, well, welcome. We've begun harvesting our first spice field here. You can see we're producing, I think, 18 per day. We have 6 days left. We have to get up to 80. So it's going to be a near run thing to meet the tax, but I think we can do it. We also completed the local dialect study. So now we're going to go ahead and research the water sellers contacts, which will reduce military unit water upkeep and reduce water upkeep on villages. That'll help us expand more rapidly. Grill also thanks for the follow. So we're producing that. We completed this mission. I'm kind of keeping my soldiers over here. You know what I should do? So I should go ahead and... Uh-oh. Raid detected. Let's pause this real quick. What I should do is I need to build a militia. I have no militia units at this village, and so right now I've got my soldiers sitting here, which will prevent an easy conquest of this village. But you can actually raise militia units that'll defend the village, so you don't have to keep like permanently garrisoned troops here. So I'm going to go ahead and raise some militia. They do, looks like they cost 400. What? I don't know what this icon represents. They have 400 something, 12 combat power, and 1 shield. I think that's 400 health. So we'll raise 1 militia unit. We'll raise 1 ranged militia unit. So the militia unit's just sort of a standard fighting unit. The ranged militia unit is able to fight at a distance. They have guns, so they engage from a distance. The militia units are just basically civilians with, I guess, swords. The demolition militia use explosives to wreak havoc in enemy lines and destroy their vehicles, so that may be useful as well. They cost 50 Solari and 5 manpower. So we'll do that. This is going to be a pretty well defended village, I think, but it is also our only village producing spice. So I think that's useful. Meanwhile, the game does say there's a local raid coming in. It's a raid party that's been seen close to my territory. My villagers and harvesters could be their targets. We don't see anything yet, but I will go ahead and select my soldiers here and move them north a bit. And you can see our harvester is actually kind of moving around here and I guess harvesting the spice. All right, so let's go ahead and engage these raiders out away from the village, hopefully preventing any damage in the village while these militia units are, you know, their timer is flowing through and they're being built. They're not even engaging me. They're just running past me. Are they going to go take the village over while I can't even engage them? They're attacking the village, so they're trying to... Will you guys go... I thought I told them to attack. Anyway, looked like they were attacking the village. But now we're engaging these guys in hand-to-hand combat. I don't think they'll stand any chance here. It says village under siege. What does that mean? Well, we've already engaged them, so they're going to be dead soon. Okay, we'll take a look at these two other options here in a second. All right, so we just destroyed these bad guys here. Let's go ahead and take a look. We have a trade request from House Atreides. They want a trade agreement which increases Solari production. We lose 1 authority for 2 months. We gain 256, or they send us 256 authority or Solari, so they give us a bunch more money. Our authority is what? I don't see where the authority is on. Oh, here it is. We lose 1. That's not really much to lose. So we send 25 influence, which I don't really understand. And then we also send 176 plascrete, which is kind of a lot of plascrete. I don't really see anything though that tells me what my authority is. Relation level and hegemony. Where is my authority? I don't see that stat anywhere here. I have not watched the Dune movie, Han, although I kind of want to. I was also debating getting the Dune audiobook on Audible. White House near water production. What? But is that's authority? I'm sorry. What I meant was I don't know where the influence is.
Greetings.
Oh no, I did. Yeah, influence. I don't see where that is anywhere on here. Whatever, I'll accept it. I like money. Right side of the screen. So is it just the influence here? My base level is 25. I've got +2. Low landside standing is -2. So we have 25 in stock. I don't really know exactly how that works. I know it's used for like LandSraad or whatever votes or whatnot. Meanwhile, we do have a new agent which has just been raised, so we can go ahead and assign them to infiltrate the Arrakis faction, the Smugglers, the Fremen. We can also set them to counterintelligence, which reduces the effectiveness of enemy agents. We can send them on missions to probe stuff. Gear sabotage, supply drop. Ooh, we could steal. I don't have sufficient infiltration level. All right, so we will just do counterintelligence for now. Let's also send these guys to one of these other villages now that we've fended off that first raid. Sandstorm detected. Sandstorms reduce production in nearby villages. They may destroy military units, harvesters, and our copters. Controlled villages can shelter military units. Still, the best way to survive is to flee.
Yes.
Well, how about you go ahead and flee? Because I don't want you to get hit by a sandstorm. So go back up there. Okay, so we paid the imperial tax. We earned our LandSraad standing here, which went up from 150 to 170. You can see the tax increased from 80 to 133. So I'm guessing that's going to kind of push the pace of play of the game, I would guess. As like you have to sort of get pressed into expanding production and things like that more quickly. I'm guessing. Go ahead and move these soldiers down to Carthage. We have our first LandSraad Council. Troop inventories plus 100% recruitment costs. Diplomatic Congress, 30% influence production decrease. Tax negotiations reduces Solari upkeep. Council resolution number 1. And you can use your influence and votes to sway the elections either way. I really want to find another source of spice. You can see the sandstorm. It's kind of cool. It kind of flows through your territory like a storm, which it is. Development research done there. Let's go down to composite materials. If we are going to start taking more villages, we're going to need that structured warehouse. So we're going to do composite materials first, which increases village repair speed and building construction costs. And then we're going to do structured warehouse, which reduces maintenance center construction costs and unlocks processing plants, which you need for other kind of resources. So let's go take... What's more valuable, rare elements or energy sources? We're not using a whole lot of fuel cells, so I would say rare elements, which I think is Adsan here. We have to go take this village. Are these territories turning colors because someone else occupies them, or just because they're out of our line of sight? I think it's a line of sight thing. All right, so the number next to the village is the number of enemy troops that are located in the village. Looks like there's some ranged militia and then also some militia. Whoa, what the hell was that? Oh, sweet. This main fortress or whatever for our house shoots at enemy troops if they get too close. And so this enemy militia unit obviously got way too close to us, so we were able to basically use some supporting fire here to take that enemy out really easily to now give us a 2-to-1 advantage. Looks like most of the enemy damage was done to our ranged troops, which is great because they are staying back and not even in the fight, so this should be a pretty easy decision. Meanwhile, promising politician. A bright politician has come to your attention. Maybe there's mutual gain somewhere. Pick his brains, get him get elected to 1 positive resolution, gain 100 influence, convince him to join. Build 2 new statecraft buildings. You get 1 agent and political mastermind trait. So you have to do the prerequisites. So we have to get elected to 1 positive resolution. So I guess that would be this. These are the resolutions up for vote. I like the idea of reducing our Solari upkeep. So I'd put my vote behind that. We have 80 votes, it looks like. And then we can use up to 25 influence to sway the vote further. So we could do like up to 100 using our influence as votes. Minor houses have 400 votes, and then the Arrakis has 100. You can also decline to vote for other options, which I assume I would have to spend votes on trying to reduce the likelihood of either of those other options occurring. My guess is just put everything behind tax negotiations and don't worry about the other ones, but I guess we'll see. That's how we'll align our support. See how the vote goes. Stockpiles up to 131, so it looks like we're going to have more than enough spice for this particular tax. We have an unassigned agent. Another one was raised. We'll go ahead and influence. We'll go ahead and infiltrate Arrakis. We're sieging this village down here, which I do have sufficient water and influence to take. We could also raid it, pillage it, which would give us loot. But I'm going to go ahead and take control of them. Because I want that, I want these resources. Okay. And Talawadi with this water production might not be a bad place to go either. Is there anything else I should be building at this first village here? Like Plascrete factory, fuel cell factory, wind trap, maintenance center, crafts workshop, research hub, listening post, a missile battery, or recruitment office. I guess a Plascrete factory might be nice. Fuel cells could also be useful. Oh shit, what's that? Oh no! Wait, did our harvester withdraw? I didn't tell it to automatically do that. It got eaten! Oh no, we didn't see the worm! Harvester destroyed. Damn it. I think you get a cool little graphic when they get eaten up too. We didn't for our soldiers, which I don't know why, but I was preoccupied. In any event, we've got enough stockpiled to pay the tax, which doesn't happen for 16 more days. So maybe we can build a little bit of a stockpile because it's going to go up again. Looks like there is a cooldown on a new harvester being built. And so I just don't know. We could do knowledge, influence. I feel like given these votes are going to be important, we probably want to start building some influence. It does have an upkeep of Solari and Plascrete. Our Solari situation's okay right now. Plascrete doesn't like convert into Solari, does it? I don't think so. Sure, Gensri. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing. I've never read the books or seen the movies, so apologies. I'm also generally very bad at pronouncing a lot of words in this game or in any game. All right. I'm going to build a missile battery up here. Mainly because I want to defend this. I mean, this is my only source of spice right now, so I need to make sure that it's secure. And then down here, what's our water situation? We'll probably take another village as is. So it produces 50 or 30 Plascrete. Upkeep is 6. Reduce Solari upkeep. Reduce Let's do the maintenance center. I like that. Okay. Well, the most recent movie, Crim, but there was also the miniseries, like the sci-fi miniseries from like 20 years ago that I saw like 10 minutes of. All right, now let's go ahead and do the structured warehouse. That way we can unlock research or exploiting other resources. Vote is still 3 days away. I don't think there's anything else for me to do right now. I am the butcher of names. Promising politician. Still waiting on that. Positive resolutions. Spice field detected. Oh, hell yes. Looks like the other village is down here. These guys are way the hell out, though. What's this? A crashed shuttle? All right, we probably need to build some militia here, too. Burning through my resources like a madman. All right, we're going to auto-recall it next time. I don't want to get eaten again. It will lower our production, but again, we're ahead of the game right now, so I think that's okay. There was a 1984 film for Dune as well. Fair, fair. All right, so the results of the vote. No. So this got 97. This got 499. Am I reading this right? So this one didn't happen. I think 151 to 121 against. This one was 499 to 96 against, so it passed. And this one was 97 to nothing, and so I assume it passed. So the tax negotiations and troop inventories are the past legislation for the next 19 days. All right, and that's going to do it for our first look at Dune Spice Wars, a new space, or I guess just a new 4X sort of sci-fi strategy game out in the Dune universe. I've never played any Dune games before, but it's pretty interesting. I know a little bit about the spice and the worms and the whatever. I don't know that I've played this enough to render an opinion, so look for more of this tomorrow. We'll have another episode up tomorrow, but I hope you guys did enjoy our first look at Dune Spice Wars. We've got our first spice field up and running. We're under attack for the first time, and so we're going to end on a cliffhanger and see how the attack goes in our next video. Until then, however, this is the Historical Gamer once again saying thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.